Hey everyone, I'm Justin with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing the PowerStop OE replacement rotor and pad kit for the rear of that 2019 and newer Silverado 1500 at home. Plain and simple, guys, if you are looking for, I would say, the easiest and most affordable way to freshen up the rear brakes on your 4th gen at home, the PowerStop OE replacement kit that we have here today will certainly be a great way to go. Now, PowerStop is going to include a brand new set of zinc-coated blank rotors in addition to their ceramic compound Z17 pad, along with all fresh hardware and everything else you need for the install, available for that low to mid $200 price point. So if you guys didn't know, PowerStop does offer a nice assortment of budget pad and rotor kits here on the site, ranging from the more basic OE replacement stuff that we just so happen to be talking about here today, all the way down the line to their Z23 Evolution, and then finally they offer their Z36, which is their extreme truck and tow setup. Certainly going to be the most aggressive of the bunch thanks to a more aggressive pad, along with the included slotted and drilled rotors. Now, coming back to the kit that we have here today, again, this is the OE kit we're talking about. It is very basic, it is very bare bones, and therefore will be the perfect stock replacement option for budget-minded Silverado owners not really looking or needing anything extra fancy. Moving into construction, guys, and I do want to quickly break down some of your individual components. Let's start with the rotors here because, in my opinion, that is the core of the PowerStop kit. The OE kit is going to include a set of G3000 grade cast iron rear rotors. They have been given a little bit of a coating here to help reduce corrosion over the years. Now, both rear rotors have been 100% mill balanced, and that's done to prevent any vibrations or inconsistencies after the installation. Now, as far as your pad is concerned here, guys, well, these are going to be, again, the more basic ceramic compound, which is the Z17 pad. Again, a great choice for a lot of the daily drivers out there, family haulers, because they are going to deliver low noise, low dust, which really always can't be said about some of your more aggressive pads in the category, something that might have a little bit of carbon fiber or something like that baked in. Now, that low noise is thanks in part to the dual layered rubberized shims here on the back, in addition to the chamfered ends and slotted pad design. Now, finally, guys, PowerStop does kick in all of your brand new stainless steel hardware and other goodies for a 100% factory fresh style replacement that really leaves no stone unturned. Now, finally, guys, I do want to point out PowerStop does also go a step further. They kick in a 24-month or 24,000-mile warranty on some of their components here, which, let's face it, is pretty stout in the world of aftermarket brakes. Now, your price point for the rear OE setup from PowerStop will live right around that low to mid $200 range, which is going to put this about $50 less than the PowerStop Z36 kit for the rear, which, if you didn't know, again, the Z36 kit is their heavy-duty truck and tow setup, complete with those slotted and drilled rotors and more aggressive pad compound. So, with all that being said, guys, if you're on the fence about just simply upgrading versus replacing with stock components, definitely consider some of your other options here because you don't have to spend a lot more money to get a pretty noticeable improvement in performance. Now, that does include obviously some kits from PowerStop, the Z23 and Z36 kits we've already talked about, but also check out some of the options from C&L as they are going to be priced just a bit lower than the PowerStop stuff here when checking out some of your kit options on the site. Shifting gears, let's talk install, guys. Pretty basic stuff in the world of automotive wrenching, brakes that is. But since there is a fair amount of work here to get the rear setup removed and then reinstalled, the site is going to knock this one up to a 2 out of 3 wrench rating on the difficulty meter and call it a couple of hours or so to complete from start to finish. Now let's throw it out to the guys in the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you will need a 1/2 inch ratchet, a 3/8 ratchet, a breaker bar, a 3/8 extension, a 1/2 inch 18mm socket, a 3/8 14mm socket, a T30 torque socket, a caliper hanger tool, a rear brake caliper tool, needle nose pliers, a cloth, brake clean, and brake lube. All right, today we're going to install some brakes on a Silverado. First, we're going to watch a video on how to install the stock ones, and then we'll come back here to install the new ones. But before we get started, just make sure when working on the rear brakes that you put your truck into parking brake service mode so that you don't damage the caliper.
First thing we're going to do is disconnect our wear sensor connector right here on our brake pad. And to do that, we're going to use a pair of needle nose pliers, and we're going to grab a hold of this, pop it out, and then remove the dust cap from our bleeder screw here so that we can get our whole wire out of the way. So we'll grab our sensor here with our needle nose. You don't have to grab it too hard, and just pop it right out. And once you've got that disconnected, we'll go ahead and remove this dust cap, and then the whole thing will just flip right out of the way. Put that back on just to make sure it doesn't get lost. Next thing we'll do is remove these two bolts, one at the top and one at the bottom for our caliper. And we'll do that using our 14mm socket. Now with those two bolts removed, we can just slide our caliper straight out. Now with the caliper out of the way, we'll go ahead and slide our pads out. Now we'll go ahead and remove our caliper mounting bracket using our 18mm socket. So we've got two 18mm bolts, one here at the top, and then another one down here at the bottom. So we'll use our breaker bar and an 18mm socket to get that started loose. Do the same thing for the one at the bottom. And then once you've got them started to become loose, we'll switch over to our 1/2-inch ratchet. Now we'll go ahead and get the top one. And then just slide the caliper mounting bracket out. Next thing we need to do is remove this retaining bolt here using a T30 Torx bit. And you may want to use a long screwdriver or an extension to hold it still while you break this loose. And once you've got that removed, you should just be able to grab a hold of the rotor and slide it right off. Now this particular kit does come with a replacement wear sensor here, so we're going to go ahead and show you how to take that off. And we're going to disconnect it right here at the top of this bracket. What you're going to do is reach back and pull on the gray locking tab, pull it out till it releases, and then push it down to actually release the connector. Now here's your gray locking tab. And once you've got that slid towards the front of the vehicle, then you're just going to push down on it towards the outside of the vehicle, grab a hold of your connector, and pull it right out.
All right, before we put the new rotor on, we just want to do one thing. The rotor does have a little bit of oil and residue on it. So we're just going to grab some brake clean and a rag and just clean off both sides of the rotor. All right, we're now going to put our rotor on. Just make sure that you line up our hole for our T30 Torx screw to lock it in place. Then we can go ahead and install that screw. All right, now before we put our bracket on for our caliper, what we want to do is replace our clips. They come with new supplied clips. Just make sure you orient them the same way that you took them off. So they just lift off. And then just push on. You can do that for this other 3 clips on this bracket. All right, if you get one that's stuck, just grab your knee and those pliers and pull it off. All right, we can now put our bracket on for our caliper. As you can see, we do have a hanger holding it out of the way, but we still may need to move it just to get our bolts lined up. We're just gonna slide over and reinstall our 2 18mm bolts. All right, we're gonna grab our ratchet and socket and tighten them up. All right, now we just need to compress our piston. So we're gonna grab our rear brake compressor tool. It actually spins it in, doesn't just press it, so it is a specific tool. Ours is actually pretty pressed in because our pads are about the same size, but I'm gonna show you briefly how to do it. You're gonna slide on, lock up the tabs, and then spin it until it's all the way compressed in. All right, we're gonna install our new pads now. Just to take note that the one with the notch in the back of it does go on the back side for our wear sensor. And before we install them, we just need to grease up the points where they go into the sliders. All right, we can put our caliper back over our new pads now. And reinstall our 14mm bolts that we took off. Now we have our new supplied brake wear sensor. We're going to plug it into our connector here. Take our bleeder cap off. Put that over. Put the cap back on. And then plug it into our rear pad. All right, now we can just repeat the same process on the other side. And then once you're done, take it out of parking brake service mode and then pump your brakes. All right, and that wraps up our install of our PowerStop OE replacement 6-lug brake rotor and pad kit for the rear of our 2019 and newer Silverado 1500. And remember, for everything Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.